Graphics have evolved considerably in the last 10 years alone, going from this to this. It is now almost expected that modern AAA releases look near photorealistic, yet in the chase for near photorealism in every frame, I think many studios have lost sight at what actually makes a game's visuals stand out. The sad reality is that modern AAA developers just aren't looking to experiment like they used to. Almost every new release from a AAA studio is focused on realism and graphical fidelity, yet good graphics are not even the most important factor in what makes a game look visually impressive. Countless modern releases have had great graphics, but the worlds themselves look so generic and bland. What is more important than pixel count or texture quality? What truly makes a game look vibrant and alive is its art direction. Art direction is defined as the way in which developers build a particular aesthetic for a purpose. This purpose being to define and communicate the visual style, mood, and tone of a game. While good graphics may be easy to market, I have always preferred games with a unique art style. Outer Wilds, which is truly a spectacle to the eye, has graphics that are not on the same level as most AAA releases. Yet every planet is beautiful and unique, with each individual location telling a story. What has always stood out to me about Outer Wilds is the sense of scale I feel when adventuring throughout the solar system. The solar system itself is relatively small, with each planet separated by mere kilometers. Yet the game itself feels so massive and alive. My point here being that the overall composition and art direction within the world have far more to do with overall immersion and enjoyment of a game. Graphics are far more indicative of the budget and funding than they are of skill and talent of the developers. This is why indie games are often credited for their strong art styles. With a small team and limited funding, they lack the means to achieve high graphical fidelity and instead must focus on crafting a distinct art style. Valheim, which was developed by a small 5-man team and therefore lacks the graphical fidelity that can be found in other Viking games, still creates an immersive world. The game oozes atmosphere and style, with each biome having a unique feel. What I remember most about my time with Valheim is not the epic boss fights or settlements I crafted, but simply feeling as though I was part of the world itself. I still remember adventuring through the rolling hills of the meadows, watching the trees sway as steady breezes blew through the branches of the oak and being blown away by the game's soft, golden lighting. Unfortunately, it seems that modern AAA developers just aren't looking to experiment with art like they used to. When I look back at older games, the visual creativity is what impresses me most. Take Ultimate SpiderMan, which used cel-shaded visuals to mirror the comic in which it was based on. Even 18 years later, the game still holds up very well, especially compared to other entries in the franchise, which aged quite poorly in comparison.
Well, at least Mr. Jameson gets his picture.
I think it's fair to say that games with this experimentation of their art direction are the exception in modern gaming. With all that being said, this in no way means that graphics and art direction are mutually exclusive. Some of my favorite games of all time are those that manage to merge an inspired, consistent aesthetic with top-of-the-line graphical fidelity. Perhaps the best example of this is Red Dead Redemption 2. According to Rockstar, their inspiration during development came from the Hudson River School, a group of American landscape painters who worked between 1825 and 1870. These artists focused on capturing the natural world and relationships between man and his environment. And this influence can be seen throughout the world of Red Dead Redemption 2, with the environment presenting pastel colors, atmospheric shapes, and the vast sense of scale that the movement became renowned for. The open world of Red Dead Redemption is perhaps its strongest feature, and it goes to show the potential of a AAA budget, talented developers, and a focused art style. So to answer the question, do graphics actually matter? Well, yes and no. There is a time and place for photorealistic graphics. However, graphics alone are not enough to make a game truly stand out. Many of my favorite games don't have anywhere near photorealistic graphics. I am a firm believer that in most cases, graphical fidelity is a secondary factor in what shapes the experience for the player. Yet good graphics have their time and place. I just hope that developers, in their quest to push the limits of what modern systems can achieve, don't forget what truly makes a game stand the test of time: its art direction.